Hi, it's Mira, and today I wanted to do a simple get ready with me. It is going to be a natural look that I do every day when I need to get ready quickly and not be late for a meeting. And so that's what I'm gonna do. And also at the same time, I wanted this get ready video to be more like a chatty one. So I wanted to talk a little bit about LA, where I'm living right now. And so let's get started. First thing is you want to make sure you're all moisturized. So I did moisturize earlier. Now I'll just get right into it. So the second most important thing is I will be, of course, you need to use sunscreen, and the sunscreen I'm using is the Biore UV, which I got from Little Tokyo. And yeah, so let's get into LA. I know I've gotten a lot of questions recently just about experience of living in LA, you know, how long I've been here, stuff like that. And I wanted to maybe, you know, kind of like dive into it and maybe answer some questions that you guys have. So I have been, a little bit of a background story, I have been in LA since 2014, since the summer of 2014. So how long is that? Almost 7 years, which is incredible. It's literally like a quarter of my life I've been here. And I'm very blessed to call it my home, and I really hope that I could stay here longer. Let's get into concealer. I have been in LA for 7 years, and I wanted to go a little bit into detail on the pros, I guess. Let's start with the pros, right? The people here is the biggest like positive. It's just that if you're ever thinking about experimenting with, you know, with fashion, with hair, with makeup, and you actually want to go out in public, like, don't be afraid to do that here, because there's literally no one will be judging you. It is so common to see, like, you know, people with really wild hair colors, rainbows and neons and bright pinks, purples, blues and greens. It's amazing. Like, you can see all these different kinds of hair colors, so many different kinds of piercings, tattoos, and just in general fashion. It's just not what you typically see. You really have all the aesthetics here. Just name it, like the cottagecore type, the TikTok typical, you know, Y2K kind of fashion. There's just such a wide variety of fashion here. I'm not saying that everyone out here is like, you know, dressing up on purpose, but it's just seeing their fashion, I guess, their fashion sense and fashion style. It really gives you a lot of inspo, especially if you're uninspired. Definitely go out, sit in a cafe and do people watching. It really gets your creative juices working. I'm gonna go in with this brush that's been through a lot with me. Just wiping off all that excess eyeshadow. Anyway, the palette that I'm using is from ColourPop. It's called Baby Got Peach. Did I get it because of its cute name? That's half of it, but the other half is also of the color palette. It's just very easy and very versatile for everyday looks. I really don't have to think much. Out of all of the palettes that I have, this is the one that I like use the most. So as I was saying, so that's the first pro of LA, is just the people. They're just very embracing of all the different types of, so not just fashion, and I'm talking about all the different types of cultures, backgrounds. In college, in university, it was really easy to make friends, and also, yeah, they're pretty chill. And also another reason is because they usually don't think that I'm an international student. They usually assume that I'm like Latino or something, and so yeah, they're surprised most of the time when I say I'm Asian. Second thing I would say, let's think. Oh, food. Because food is very important to me. Food is definitely a huge plus point for living here. any kind of cuisine you can think of it, anything, you can find it here. They have such a huge selection, such a wide variety of just the different kinds of cuisines. And then also, if you have like any dietary restrictions, like if you're vegetarian or vegan, you can also find a lot of options here. The only thing is Malaysian. So I am from Malaysia, and there have been like a couple of Malaysian restaurants in the past which unfortunately have shut down. That was like a Papa Rich here at one point 2 years ago, and then they shut down. I don't know why. It just makes me so sad, because whenever I'm like craving that Malaysian food, like roti canai or like fried noodles, like I would go there, and then they shut down, and it makes me really sad. But something that's similar to that is Indonesian restaurants, which are everywhere. Like you can find it really, like there's 5 that's within 10 minutes away from me. It's really easy to find one. And I'm just gonna go with this like light shimmery color on the center of my lids, just to give it like a pop. What else is the pros? And I'm actually looking for my mascara, which I found right here. I like this mascara from Colourpop. It's called Ac Natural. And the third pro, I would say, of moving to LA, or just like being here in general, is the access to all of the movies, concerts, TV shows, like just like the taping of TV shows. It is wild. I think I got a little bit star crazy when like my first 2-3 years here. I went to a lot of like the TV show tapings. So there's like websites here that's dedicated to those, to like actually finding people to be part of the audience. So the site that I use is called 1iota, and there you can find like a lot of events. For example, they usually offer tickets for talk shows, like I mentioned Jimmy Kimmel, James Corden. I was on James Corden on the show once as an audience, not as a guest, but it was definitely an eye-opening experience. Definitely what you see on TV is not real. They tell you when to clap, they tell you when to laugh. It's all so manufactured. It was a cool experience. You can also get tickets to like album premieres and like free concerts, and I got a few. I was so excited. So one of the album premieres that I got to go was Shawn Mendes when he released his album in, it was 2018, and that was okay. I'm a huge Shawn Mendes fan, and I hadn't seen him like perform live before that, and then to get this ticket for free, I was like, I have to be there. And so I did. And it was so cool just seeing him live and getting to hear him perform like a couple of songs off his new album at that time. And then the coolest part is when he was singing a song, he was like, oh, I have this one of these artists that I look up to, and he helped me write this song. And then he brought up freaking John Mayer. I was like, what? And it was a wonderful night. And then like to top it off, like a cherry on a sundae, I got to meet Billie Eilish. Like I saw her, like, because as I was leaving the concert hall, I saw at that time she had like, you know, like the icy blonde hair, and she had her signature like oversized clothes and oversized like baggy jacket and everything. And I saw like her side profile, and I was like, is that Billie? And I just went up to her and I'm like, hi Billie, can I take a picture? And it was her, like up close, it was her, and she was so nice, so down to earth, and I treasure that photo. That's saved somewhere in my Apple iCloud. Let's see, aside from that, I also got like some tickets to like music awards, such as like they have like an iHeartRadio Music Awards. So I got to see Zayn live. I'm a huge 1D fan as well, so I got to see him perform live. At that time he came out with his single Pillow Talk, and I got to see that live. It was really cool. I haven't been doing much makeup, I've been doing too much talking, so I've only done my eyeshadow, and there's like a little smudge right here that I will just brush off and pretend it's okay. So I am done with my eye portion, except for my eyebrows. I am long overdue for my waxing appointment, which I will gladly have this weekend. And until then, I will just try my best to shape it. So those are the pros, and also just access to like all the concerts they have. You know, every artist, whenever they tour, LA is definitely like on their list of cities to tour. If you're into definitely all those entertainment stuff, this is the place to be. And now I will add in more color with some brow gel, and this is from Milk Makeup. Another thing, so LA is not just about the glitz and the glamour. There's also the nature side of LA. There's so many different types of beaches, mountains you can go hiking on, rivers not so much, but you get my drift. So if you're into hiking, there's a lot of really cool hiking spots here. Don't ask me which one, I don't really hike. But if you're looking for beaches, that's more of my thing. Off the top of my head, my favorite ones would be not Santa Monica, because Santa Monica is overrated and there's usually too many people and too many tourists, and it's dirty. You don't want to swim in the water there. It's kind of like very suspicious. However, if you're thinking of going, the places that I like to go is Laguna Beach. It's called like 1,000 Steps Beach in Laguna. That's usually not as many people as Santa Monica, but there's still quite a number. It really depends on what day you go there. There's Newport Beach, which is kind of crowded near the pier area, but as you like go towards the end, there's way lesser people, and it's like very calming. You can hear the ocean sounds and just spend there like for hours and not get bored. So for my cheeks, I got the new blush sticks from M Cosmetics, one of my favorite brands, and they just released these new blush sticks. I saw them and I had to get it, and this one is called Passion because the color is just so gorgeous. It's this dark orange color. I haven't actually used it, I just sort of like swatched it on my hand, and so let's see how it looks like on my skin. Okay, it's pretty pigmented, but it feels really soft, and I don't know why I'm doing this a second time. It feels really soft and creamy. I'm gonna blend it with my fingers and we'll see how easy it blends. I look very sun-kissed right now. Oh my gosh. Michelle Fan, you did it again. Enough about the pros of LA. There's gotta be a negative part to it, right? And yes, there is. There's a couple of negative sides to LA. First of all, I'm gonna say cost-wise, it's just expensive to live here. Housing is expensive. Okay, so I came here, I was a student, so my option was to either live in the university dorm or live off campus. And based on my time in community college and also in the university, I chose to live off campus both times. Just because, you know, when you live in a dorm, you have like to share bathrooms with a lot more people. You can't cook in your room. You have to rely on food from the halls, from the dining halls, and I feel like overall it will just save me a lot more to live off campus. I usually had roommates, and just because I wouldn't be able to afford living in an apartment by myself. It is so expensive. So depending on what neighborhood you go to, for example, like places like Santa Monica, Culver City, anything in the West LA or West Hollywood area, you're gonna need at least 2,000 minimum, and this is just usually for a one-bedroom. It's a lot. I would say a huge portion of my money usually goes to rent. That's just how it is. And not just the housing, everything else is expensive. Fuel, food. So fuel, for example, here right now, for some reason, it's getting way extremely expensive. It's like $5 to $6 a gallon, where in places like the East Coast, from what I hear, is you can get it for like $2 or $3. So it's pretty much double that. And the fact that LA is a city where the public transportation sucks, it's really crappy. I'm so happy that I don't have to use public transportation now that I'm just working from home. But public transportation is a pain. Like, based on my own experiences in university, I had to rely, since I was living off campus, I have to rely on like the public buses to get to school. And the line that I had, I could only use this one bus line because that's the only one that drops me directly off at school. And that bus is like only every 30 minutes. So if I miss that bus, I'll be 30 minutes late at least. Another thing is, sometimes whenever I have like classes in the morning that's like at 7 or 8 a.m. and I would need to get on like probably like a 6:30 or 7 o'clock bus, that bus, by the time it reaches my stop, it will be so full. Like, you will see people will be like packed like sardines. They're like clinging to the bus pole. You don't even need to hold it. Like, even if you like don't hold anything, you won't fall because there's people in front, all 360 degrees all around you. You're just kind of like riding a wave. Everybody's just like in your space. Ugh. I just can't. I have like PTSD from that. And so sometimes it will be so full to the point that they won't even stop at my stop. Like, the bus will just like, woo, they will just go and leave me, and I'm like, how do I get to class? Either I'm gonna be late or I'll have to Uber, and usually I would have to Uber when that happens because I can't be late to class. They do have trains here, but the network of trains is kind of limited. They are kind of working on it right now. They're like adding more. They're like extending the lines and making it like reach more places. But it really depends on where you stay. The train station might just be too far for you to walk, or you'll have to get a bus to get to the train station if you are, 100% relying on public transport. So it's still pretty difficult to get around town. LA is a car city. You need a car to get around. If not, it'll take you 2 to 3 hours to get to the place where you want to be. And I'm going to put highlight. And this one is a very old one from e.l.f. right here. I got it because of the packaging. Very reflective, very cool. And maybe a little bit on my nose. Food is also quite pricey if you are 100% relying on eating outside. It can definitely rack up to like $12 for a meal. 3 meals a day, that's at least $30. So that's why it is not very wise economically to eat outside every single time. If you're trying to save money, cooking is the way to go. It will just save you so much. One other thing I forgot to mention, and this needs to be a topic on its own. The LA traffic it's an abomination. That's what I was looking for. It is an abomination. And the reason being is because, I don't know, maybe because people keep moving to LA. There's just so many cars on the road. To get to, for example, where I'm at right now, I'm in Pasadena, and just to get to downtown LA, if there's no traffic, just to give you like a visual, if there's no traffic, it's 30 minutes, 20 minutes if you drive a little bit faster. But with traffic, it could take you an hour and a half. And with that, I shall put on some lipstick. And my lipstick is this one from Korea. It's called Chai. It's just been my go-to lipstick for now, just because the color is very like natural and it feels really nice on my lips. So that is the finished look. I'm not done with the cons yet though. One other con. So to close it off, now that I have my finished look, I'm done with my makeup. For my hair, that's a different story. We'll we'll just zhuzh it up somehow and make it work. One last con that I want to depart you with is that LA is not La La Land. It is very, very far from it. There are some places in LA that are very, I would say, dangerous for you to be in, especially for tourists, from people of, you know, from out of town who are not aware. Especially in downtown LA, there's parts of it that are very sketchy, and definitely won't advise anybody to go there walking around alone. There's only certain parts of LA that is shown in the media, that is shown on your influencers' Instagram pages, that's shown on the reality shows or whatever that you're watching. Most of it is like just like a regular city, and then there's another portion of it that's quite sketchy, as I mentioned. Also, what is not shown is that the homeless population is very huge here, I would say. I wasn't used to seeing it back in Malaysia. It's not as common to see it, I guess, but here it's just very common to see, like, you know, these structures, like these tents set up along the highway in different parts of the city, especially in the downtown area. There's also actually a place that's designated for the homeless to camp, and that's called Skid Row, and that's a place that you might want to avoid. There's not really like any shops that you can go there anyway, like the shops there, all the buildings are shut down. I'm not in any way like making them the bad person in the scenario. I definitely, you know, feel like they need help, like they should be offered more help in, you know, figuring out their situation and getting them to a safer location. But it's just that, yeah, it's just it's not talked about enough. So that's why there's other places that I usually go to that people are not so aware about, you know, like for example, like places in Malibu, not many people go to like the hills up there and everything. And the reason I found out was also because of my boyfriend. He also has lived here for quite a while, so he has his own spots of his own that he goes to a lot, and we kind of like share those spots now. And I hope you enjoyed this really simple get ready with me. It's been quite fun. It's been quite fun doing this. I hope I didn't ramble too much and actually gave you a better idea or better picture of the life here. Aside from that, one last thing to shook the camera. One last thing before I end this video. Let me just put on my blazer that I was gonna put at the start just to show you how cute it is, and then we shall end it. Look at that. Businesswoman, CEO in the making. Look at those sleeves. These sleeves mean business, you know? That's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you learned anything from it, or if you like whatever I said, definitely give it a like, so that I know, and in the future maybe I can create more videos like this or talk more about this topic. Subscribe if you want to be updated on more content coming your way. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!